Grammy's stories. The Easter Bunny told me. The brothers said good night and went upstairs to bed. They must go to sleep just as soon as prayers are said. Danny wasn't sleeping. The moon outside was bright. It had been a full moon just the other night. Danny had learned that the first full moon in spring meant that Easter Sunday followed and church bells would ring. His family would go to church, Easter outfits they would wear, to thank dear God above for the sun that he did share. Now it was the night before Easter, and Danny very well knew that sometime that night the Easter Bunny would be due. He had always wondered, but never really asked, why Jesus chose a bunny to celebrate his past. Having heard the story of all that Jesus said, how the Romans killed him, but he arose from the dead, Danny thought that maybe this was Jesus' way to celebrate with children his very special day. He sat up suddenly when a thought popped into his head. I'll wait downstairs to catch that bunny instead of in my bed. Then when he comes, I'll ask him, for he will surely know why Jesus chose an Easter bunny to treat the children so. Danny slipped downstairs and curled up in a chair, and then fell fast asleep while he was waiting there. Before very long, a large rabbit came in the door. He was carrying 3 baskets, and he set them on the floor. He was a much larger bunny than we usually see. If you counted to his ear tops, he was easily 4'3". A purple jacket is what the rabbit wore, with bright golden buttons that showed off even more. The bow tie at his neck was a very spiffy green, and on his head he wore a hat like you've never seen. I don't know how he hopped in his big black shoes tied with bright green laces, but one thing I know for sure, he wouldn't win any races. Suddenly Danny awoke, and to the rabbit he spoke. Are you the Easter Bunny, not some kind of joke? The rabbit chuckled softly. Yes, why are you here? I prefer to work alone. Please don't interfere. I have always wondered, so I stayed up to ask. Please answer me before you begin your task. Just tell me why Jesus picked you, is what Danny said. What do eggs and bunnies have to do with rising from the dead? The rabbit perched beside Danny on the arm of the chair, and here is the story as it was told by this wise hare. Rabbits and eggs are signs of spring. That's when new life begins. When Jesus arose from the dead, he saved us from our sin. Long ago, as Jesus preached to an adult crowd, there were always children playing kind of loud. The families followed Jesus to learn how to live. He taught them to love God and their lives to give. Jesus loved the children. He invited them to stay. He told them stories and then how to pray. With the story of his coming death, he heard the children's cries. He quickly reassured them that from the dead he would rise. They learned from Jesus that new life would appear. If they truly believed in him, he would always be near. He talked about God's new life all around them to look. One of his examples, the new flowers by the brook. Jesus showed the children tiny eggs in a nest, another sign of new life just like the rest. And the baby bunnies that the children had seen right there by the tree in grass of bright green. To love as Jesus taught them was new life for the receivers. To love and honor God the Father made them true believers. God the Holy Spirit touches us, represented by a dove. This way we actually see through our eyes God's true love. The new life that Jesus gives us, we love the very best. He guides us through each day. I'm sure you know the rest. We treat everyone with kindness, always with a smile. In other words, we can live our lives in Jesus style. So when I, the Easter Bunny, bring goodies to be shared, Jesus' love is in that basket. Remember how much he cared. He always gathered the children during his time on earth. He wants you to help him celebrate the day of his rebirth. Suddenly, Danny's eyes opened very wide. Had the Easter Bunny really been right here inside? He held back a yawn as his brothers entered the room. They headed for the Easter baskets as fast as they could zoom. When the eggs and candy were scattered everywhere, no one even questioned how they had gotten there. Danny looked at his new basket filled with eggs to the brim. He thought of the new life, and he knew that Jesus was with him. So Danny shouted to his brothers, "The Easter Bunny told me the story of all new life, so Jesus is with us three."